Hello, year 8. This is um, fourth video for percentage, right? Okay, today we are going to talk about GST, right? But before we start any new content, let's do some consolidation and revision. Okay, right? So there are three questions on the screen. Possibly you can pause the screen now, try to do it. I'm going to show you the answer right after that. Alright, let's pause the video now. Okay, so here are the answers, right? Okay, for the first one is 19 out of 25. So basically just use 19 divided by 25. That's a fraction, and you need to convert that into percentage. You could do it by your calculator, right? So if you've forgotten how to use it, go back to our video 1 and video 2. There are plenty of examples to show you how to do it. Okay, so second question, 85% of his math test. So that's 85% is out of 50 mark. That's the total mark. Alright, so you just use 85% of 50 and that's multiplication, right? So you got 42.5 marks. Right, so question 3 is from last lesson. So increase of 100 by 50%. So that means you need to consider how much is the increment, and that increment is 50% of 100, so that's 15. So that means you actually increase by 15 and you add that 15 to 100. You got a new value. Okay, so that's the last one, which is decrease. Okay, so you see the difference, decrease 250 by 10%, find the new value. Okay, I'm going to give you some time as well. Okay, so number 4, okay, 10% of 250 will be 10% times 250, which is 25. The new value is 250, take away 25 because that's decrease, so you have to take away. Alright, so that's the last two questions was for last video. Alright, okay, hopefully you could get them correct. Okay, so here's today's new content. It's about GST. Okay, so GST is a short form of goods and services tax. So it's kind of a tax. Alright, so tax means you need to pay the government with part of your consumption, right? Okay, so that tax is 10% in Australia. That means whatever you buy goods or pay for a service, you must pay an extra 10%. Okay, so that extra 10% is paid by consumer. Okay, right? So that means if you buy something for a shop, you are going to pay extra 10%. Okay, from the P-tax, what we call P-tax price. Okay, so if the price was $20, okay, before the tax, then after tax you need to pay $2 more because $2 is 10% of $20. So that means in the bill you are going to pay $22. All right. So some goods and services are going to be taxable. So you will see a symbol like these kinds of symbols. Okay, right? So if you got invoice or receipt, you see that symbol in front of the goods or services. That means that one will incur a GST, right? Okay. Okay, so let me give you an example to illustrate that. So that's a bill for a shop, suppose. Okay, so you go to shopping and you buy something and you look at the receipt. Okay, so you see from the receipt there are lots of things you've just bought have that percentage sign in front of it. All this means these goods are going to subject to that GST. Okay, so that means the price you pay actually include the 10% GST. Okay, and but sometimes some goods are not going to be paid by the GST, like this time the meat, because you don't see the symbol, the percentage symbol in front of it, so that means the meat is exempt from GST. Okay, you don't need to pay that 10% for the meat. Alright, so let's see. So here's the total price, and that's last item soon. That's $1.98. That would be the amount that you pay for the government for GST. All right. Okay. So that's how it works in real life. Okay. So let's go back to math. So in math, how could we calculate GST? Okay, GST is 10% as a percentage. So that means we need to apply our knowledge in percentage. Okay. For example, if a shop buys a racing bike for 2,300 before GST. Okay, that's before GST. Okay, so that price doesn't include the GST. How much GST would they need to pay on it? Okay, so they need to pay GST. How much? Okay, so you see, they are going to ask you how much GST. So only GST you need to calculate. So remember, GST is 10% of that, the price before GST. So you just use 10% times 2,300. So last time we've learned that's for percentage like 10%. You don't need your calculator. You just think about that. So it's just times 0.1 or 1/10. Just move your decimal points to the left by one digit, so it becomes 230, right? Okay, so they will pay 230. Okay, so let's do another one. How much GST is paid on the airfare at a pre-GST retail price? 830. Okay, so that's pre-GST retail price. So that's another way to say so. Okay, so that means that retail price has not included GST. Okay, so how could you calculate that GST you need to pay? Again, it would be 10% only. Okay, so GST would be 10% of that's 830. Okay, so that would be just 10%, okay, times 830. So we could use our mental math. The 10% means just move that decimal point to the left by one digit, so it becomes $83. Okay, so so just write GST pay is $83. So that's only GST you need to pay. That doesn't mean the total price. The total price will be 83 plus that's 830, right? Okay, so for question 3, let me give you some time to think about the answer, right? Okay, so here's the answer, right? So GST is 10% of $4.50. So you divide that $4.50 by 10, or you just move the decimal point to one unit to the left. So to one digit to the left, that will becomes 0.45. So GST pay is 45 cents or $0.45. Okay, that'll be good. All right. Okay, so let's go for question 4. Okay, so question 4 is another new question. So again, the retail price of a scanner before GST is 125. What is the GST included? So that's the term, GST included retail price. So when we pay something, you always pay the GST included retail price. All right, when the GST is added. Okay, so there will be two parts of the answer. The first part is you need to calculate the GST. Okay, that's part. Okay, so the first part, you need to calculate that's GST. So that's the first part. First part will be just the same what we have done before. Okay, you just use the price before GST times 10% or divided by 10, and then for this one as 125, so 10% of it just $12 per $12.50. Okay, and how about GST included retail price? That's not minus. That means GST hyphen included retail price. Okay, so that means you include that GST to your final retail price. Okay, so that retail price will be the retail price before GST plus the GST. Okay, you add two numbers together, you got 137.50 cents, right? Okay, so that would be the answer. So the final answer is they need to ask you what's the GST included retail price. So all you need to do is answer final ticket price will be 137.50. Okay, so that's one way to do it. But sometimes we don't want to do it in two steps. Can we do it in one step? Yes, that's another way. So this is a quicker way. Okay, this is a quicker method. Okay, let's consider that GST is 10%, right? So actually the price included that GST will be 110% of the pre-GST price. Okay, so 10% plus 100%. So that would be the idea, right? So that's the idea. That's 10% plus 100%. So 100% means the original price, and 10% will be 100% means the price without GST, right? 10% means the GST imposed. So totally the GST included price will be 110% of the original of the price without GST, right? Okay, so all you need to do is 110% times that's 125, so you will get the answer right away. So that's a much quicker way. Okay, so it depends depends on your understanding. I do think the method that you find GST and then you add GST to the price without GST is better for your understanding. All right, but I can't deny that the second method is much quicker. So it depends on your preference. Okay, right. So remember that. Okay, so we give you a very short summary. Okay, the following can be used to calculate GST components. GST equals 10% times a retail price, or 0.1 times that's retail price means without GST. All right. Okay, and GST included retail price would be retail price plus GST. So that's what we have done by using the first method. The second method is that GST included retail price equals 110% of retail price. That means 1.1 or 110% times the retail price. Okay. Okay, let's put into practice. Okay, so question 5. The pre-GST retail price for a laptop is 1,270. And calculate the GST included price. So I'm going to do it in two methods. Method 1. Okay, so remember you are going to find the GST included price. Method 1. First, we need to find the GST. So GST will be 10% of that's retail price. Okay, so that becomes 127, right? Okay. So, and then we calculate that's GST included price. Okay, so that price will be 127 so 1270 plus 127. Okay, so that will give you 1397. Okay, so basically you see that's a GST included price. Okay, so let me show you another way to do it. Okay, so another way to do it is just, okay, GST included price would just be 110% of that retail price. So all you need to do is use this one times this one. Okay, of course you can use your calculator, then you will get the same result. Okay, oh sorry, that's 97. Okay, so the GST included price is, okay, that would be good. Okay, so and we move on to our next question. So I'm going to give you some time to try to do it by yourself. All right, okay. Okay, so question 6. Okay, so so you see that I still show you the two methods. All right, okay, so the answer will be 935. So exactly the same. So there will be other question in our in the homework. So you need to do some practice. All right, okay, so the practice will be like this. So there will be 4 questions with all the answers. Right, okay, so you need to show your working. You don't just give me the answer. That's no point to do it, because I've already give you the final answer. Please show your working. All right, okay. And so this ticket, so there's some question to answer about. Okay, try to make sure you understand the contents. If you have any question, you can email me, or if OneNote is working, you can leave your question in the collaboration space. If it's not working, just email me. All right, I will try to answer, but I got too many students. Sometimes I might miss your email. If you think that's really important, then you might email me again. Okay, so I would like to apologize for the platforms isn't working right now. Okay, so I just try to do things which can facilitate your study. So that's why I put things into YouTube. Hopefully you could learn something from that. Okay, right, so see you next time.